Hey guys, so excuse me. So I am currently in LVN school, which is licensed vocational nurse in California, but it's also known as licensed practical nurse in every other state except Texas. So it's practical nursing school. And I'm in my car right now. So I am a mom of three. I am 29 years old and I decided to go back to school for nursing. I already have my bachelor's degree in business, and my bachelor's degree in business didn't get me very far in life. Um, by the way, the reason why I'm dressed like this and I'm sitting in my car literally doing my nursing homework is because my kids are inside the house. My mom's inside the house too, but it's so loud in there I couldn't concentrate, so I came out to my car. Usually I go to the library. By the way, my finger, I smashed my finger in the door, so that's why it's black. But anyways, yeah, usually I go to the library and I bring my kids with me to the library, and I did that earlier today. Um, but yeah, so I am doing this LVN school, and I'm gonna be transitioning to RN. Like right off the bat, I already know, like even though I'm in the LVN program right now, which is 1 year long, I'm going to, like, soon after I'm done with the LVN program, I'm already like talking to Nightingale about the RN program. But I'm gonna transition immediately into RN. As I'm working, I'm gonna do a online LVN to RN program so that I can work while I am getting my RN. So the reason why I decided to go back to nursing school, or back to school, one is because my bachelor's in business wasn't doing much for me. I was married and I was so I went to college, I got my bachelor's in business, and then I got married, and then I became a stay-at-home mom for a while. I worked a little bit, but honestly, my bachelor's degree in business didn't do much for me. The first job that I got was making $15.50 an hour, and I'm talking about like anyways, this was back before $15.50 was the minimum wage. This was like a few years ago in California. But I wasn't able to get like a good job making 20 an hour, 25 an hour, because I mean, a bachelor's in business isn't going to get you much if you don't have experience. So I was building up my experience, and I was an administrative assistant, and I was married at that time, so I didn't need much of an income. But you know, my income plus my husband at the time's income was helping us. So we were able to pay the bills. So anyways, yeah, so the reason why I'm going back to school is, one, because of that. Like, a bachelor's in business wasn't doing anything for me, and for two, I got divorced. So I found out that my husband had cheated on me, and I got divorced. I was working as an accountant at that time, making $24 an hour, and my job was just getting to be so stressful. I didn't like working with my boss. I mean, everybody in the company literally said the same thing, that like nobody liked our boss. He was very like, just not very nice. What else? So I didn't like my boss, and then it was just getting to be very, like, a lot of anxiety working there. It was just like all the people that I was working with. I mean, I was working at it was just starting to become very stressful and all that. So I was looking for work for a very long time, but of course, a business job, anybody can be hired for a business job. You don't even need your degree to be hired for a business job. The lights just turned on for some reason. But yeah, you don't even need your degree to be hired for a business job. So a lot of people, I mean, I couldn't get a job, and it was becoming so stressful for me that I just ended up quitting without a backup, because when you have a business job, you don't have the freedom of just hopping around when you want to. So that's why I chose nursing, partly because nursing here in California is so limited. Like, nurses are so limited that you will always have a job. When you're a nurse, you will always have a job because they need nurses. Like, there's a shortage of nurses in California, and there's a shortage of being able to get into a nursing program, which is why I'm going the LVN to RN route, because I don't have to wait for the wait list. Because in California, there's a shortage of nurses, and there is not a lot of nursing programs at the colleges, which is why we pay for private colleges. A lot of Californians pay for private colleges to go to nursing school. We pay the extra money, that way we don't have to wait on a 2-year nursing wait list. And meanwhile, in that same 2 years, you could have become a nurse if you would have just paid for private college, and your time is very precious. So it's worth taking out a loan, I think. So that's part of the reason why I chose nursing, is because job stability. The third reason why is because I'm a single mom, and here in California, $20 an hour isn't going to cut it. $25 an hour isn't going to cut it. I am also Christian, so my kids go to Christian school, and I can't afford that on a business salary, making $25 an hour. Even on a business salary, like, you're barely like $30 an hour. You can kiss that goodbye. You're not going to be making $30 an hour unless you're 40 years old. I mean, even with my experience that I had and my degree, because I was so young and because I looked young, even though I was doing the same thing that the next girl was doing, the truth of the matter is, she was in her 40s, I was in my 20s, and so my boss looked at me as if I deserved less amount for doing the same job. And so she made significantly more than me. Well, I made $24 an hour, she made $30 an hour. But the boss thought, oh, but she has been doing this longer. And she had been doing it longer, but at the same time, I was doing the exact same job as her. My degree aligned better. So it just wasn't, it just wasn't working for me. Okay, so anyways, that is why I chose nursing, because nursing, I mean, you make good money. Because of the shortage of nurses, you're not going to be making less than $32 an hour here in California. So 32 is the minimum, but for LVNs, I have seen job postings for 40 an hour. I have seen job postings for 60 an hour. I have seen job postings for 50 an hour. But I have also seen job postings for 34 an hour, 35 an hour, 36 an hour. So minimum what I'll be making is probably $34 an hour here in California. And so to me, that is what I need to be able to bare minimum it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really survive out here as a single mom making $20 an hour, $25 an hour, especially if you are a woman like me, who I want my family to be comfortable. I want my kids to have their own space. I want to have my own space. I want a nice, clean area. So if you don't want to live in a cramped place, renting a bedroom, if you want your own space, then you can't do that for less than $30 an hour as a single mom. So that's why I'm choosing the nursing. Also because I want this shift in my life is huge. This is a huge shift because I just went through a lot last year in 2024, and I feel like that was a year for me where I left my childish ways and I became a woman, and God really worked on me. He worked on my heart, he worked on my character, he developed me, and I felt like a change was necessary. And I was really contemplating on whether I wanted to do nursing school or not, but I decided to go ahead and do it because I feel like God led me in this direction. This was a calling, and I do want to help people. I have been through so much in my life, and I don't like for other people to, feel that way. And honestly, I tried so much. I tried my own business. I tried doing all this, that, and the other, and I don't like it. I don't like having my own business. And I was like getting successful, but I don't like being accountable for my own business, if that makes sense. Like, it's scary to me to have to market myself or to market my business and to, know everything perfectly because it's just my name on the line. And nursing is different. It is different than having your own business because I'm actually going to school for nursing. I'm actually learning the stuff, the material, and it won't be like my business that I have to like represent all professionally. It's just gonna be little old me. Like, I don't have to put on a front like, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome. No, like, I'm gonna be a nurse. I'm gonna be working for someone, and I'm in a service position, which I'm not like, you know, the pressure of like sure, there's the pressure of you need to do your job right because you're gonna be dealing with people's lives, but it's not like I'm gonna be performing surgeries or stuff like that. I'm gonna be, pushing medication that is already prescribed by the doctor. I'm going to be, doing what I have to do. It's not really like, and I'm, of course, I'm going to be responsible with it. So I feel, but even if I was doing surgery and stuff like that, it's just a big difference than having your own business. And like, the pressure of having your own business for me, it's just not for me. To just be perfectly honest, it's just not for me. Some people are business owners and others aren't, and I'm just one of those people who feels more comfortable working a stable job where I know that the income is going to come in whether I market myself or not. So I stopped trying to like market my business and become a business owner and do all that, and I think the humility suits me well. I am a very humble person, and I want to service others, and I want to like let people know that they're loved, during the most vulnerable situations that they could be in. So I think that this really is a calling, and I'm so excited. And yeah, so that's why I chose nursing school, and that's why I'm gonna also be transitioning to RN, because LVN, that's just gonna get me a nice stable lifestyle. I feel like for me and my kids, like, that's what I need to be completely 100% stable. But RN is going to get me to where it's just above and beyond. Like, RN here in California, you're not going to make anything less than $50 an hour, but I have seen rates of up to $100 an hour, $120 an hour. So I might be making, and it's not uncommon to hear someone would say that they make 120 an hour as an RN. So I expect to like start off at like 60 an hour and then move my way up, and then maybe even get my master's in nursing eventually and be a nurse practitioner. But for now, it's just LVN and then LVN to RN. So that is why, and I feel like it's such a good thing because it's such a good transition. If you are at like a transitional phase in your life where maybe you had a failed relationship that didn't work out and you don't really know what you're going to be doing um, with yourself, like, for me, I felt very like stagnant. I felt like I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and it's really important for it's beautiful. And honestly, who was it in the Bible? Ruth was the one Proverbs 31 woman that I could think of in the Bible. And I am just at this point right now in my life where I am it feels amazing. Like, this, I know I'm stressed out just because nursing my kids and all the things that I'm dealing with right now, but I am at this point in my life where I am living a sacrificial life. And that is a word that God gave me, was sacrifice. And I love it. I mean, that's literally what I'm doing. I'm laying down my life for my kids. And everything that I do at this point in my life is for my kids. Everything, like my strategy, like everything that I think, like the city that I live in. My son goes to Christian school here. It's an affordable Christian school. And my mom, people tell me, like, you should move to the Bay Area. You should move here. You should move there, because you'll be around more prominent adults. You know, you'll have a better selection of, you know, people to marry even. And I'm just like, you know what? What is best for my kids? I don't even care about what's best for, you know, for me to get married or whatever. I'm literally thinking, like, you know, putting my passions of marriage aside. And it's not like I believe God has someone for me, but it's not like, you know, I'm just completely putting that aside and thinking, okay, this is a good school for my kids. It's affordable, and I want them to stay at one location for the rest of their lives. I don't want them hopping around different schools like I did. You know, I want them to have friends. I want them to have lifelong friends. I want them to get married. And at the school that they're at, it turns into a college. So it's preschool, regular school, high school, and then college. And a lot of the students get married. And so I'm like, I want my kids to get married to another Christian. I want them to just have those opportunities that I didn't have. I want them to grow up in a Christian environment. I don't want them to get astray. Any way that I can help them, I'm gonna do it. And then I want them to, you know, have a stable life. And so even with me nursing here in this city, this is a more affordable city. And people like to say, oh, it's not that safe in the city. I haven't had no problems. Like, I'm sitting out in my car and it's getting dark right now, and I haven't had no problems ever living in this city. Thanks be to God, because he's in control and he protects me and my kids. And we're in our own little safe bubble. Like, you know, we're in a safe little bubble here. We have our house, I have my car, everything is nice and safe, and that's how I like it. It's just a nice little safe bubble. My kids' dads live here in this city, so they get to see their dads are close. And so it's just such a good environment for me and my kids. And it's just so, like, we're in our own little bubble here, and I love it. And, you know, as far as me and marriage and stuff like that, like, you know, I do get pretty frequently people trying to, like, talk to me or trying to date me and stuff, but I'm on a completely different, like, level right now in my life, where at this point right now in my life, I just know it's not time for me to date. I just know right now the season that God has me in. It's crazy. Like, it's not even crazy, it's amazing that I'm starting to just catch the drift. Like, last year was a year of refinement for me. This year is a year of building. It's not time for me to date. And so whenever, you know, somebody tries to talk to me or anything, I did have one person who I thought maybe, who goes to my church, and because, you know, he's a Christian man, he goes to church and he's, like, involved at the church and stuff. So I thought, you know, maybe he might be, because he was trying to pursue me. But what I feel very strongly is that right now is a time for building in my life. It's not the time for dating. And I think that there will be a time for dating. So now, at this point, whenever people come into my life, I just know it's not time right now. It's not time right now. It's a time for sacrifice. It's a time for, like, getting my nursing degree. It's a time for building my character, building, like, me, who I am. And I'm telling you, I have never been so happy in my life single. I have never been so, like, I have never been this emotionally stable in my entire life. And I have never been this sacrificial. I have never been this level-headed. I have never been like, everything that is happening in my life right now is building me into a beautiful Proverbs 31 woman who I am like leaving behind the things that like were just ignorant and stupid, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much in my life that was just ignorant, stupid, and whatnot. So like, I am excited that I have the ability, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to be able to go to school, to be able to be that force in my kids' life that is going to make their lives better. Because somebody needs to have somebody, everybody needs to have somebody in their life that they can lean on, especially children. They need to have a stable, they need that push in life. They need that stability in life. And I am so grateful and I'm so determined that that force is going to be me, that I'm going to be that force that just keeps my kids in the stability and it gives them the best start in life. And I guarantee you that I, with this mindset, with God, will be able to do this better than even any two-parent household. And better, especially better than a two-parent household that is toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the level that I'm on right now. And I am just so, I'm just so grateful and excited. So that's my little life update. That's why I'm going to LVN school. That's why I'm going to RN school. And that's why I am so just grateful to God for everything he's doing in my life. And I just want to give a little encouraging message. You know, if you are a woman and you have been through like life hardships in life and anything that you've gone through in your life, let me tell you something. The best thing that you can do is lean on the Lord. First, you need to understand that God is in control and that you are his daughter, and that everything that's happening in your life is happening for your good and it's happening in his hands, and he's always guiding you even when your faith isn't strong enough, because he chose you from the very beginning of the foundations of the earth. Your name was written in the book of life before the foundations of the earth. He chose you before you chose him. We have to understand that it's not because we chose him, it's because he chose us. We wouldn't have even chose him if he didn't choose us. We are chosen. And so the reason why we believe is because we were his daughters before we even chose him. So that's why we are protected, and we're always protected. We're always in the right path, even when we make the wrong mistakes, even when we make the wrong decisions in life, even when we are stupid, dumb, and like just doing stuff that's just, just not, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when you reject God, even when you rejected God, even when you didn't love God the way that you should have, he still chose you, and you will get to the point where you are right on track where you need to be because of his great mercy and love. And I'm telling you, every situation that you go through in your life, if you are truly a chosen child of God, you are special, you are beautiful, and you are valuable. I had a brief emergency that I had to deal with just now. But anyways, yeah, that's it. The reason why you're valuable is because, let me tell you, there are 100% of people in this world, and probably only 20% of people in this entire world, maybe 20%, maybe even 10% of people are truly God's chosen. If you think about it, let's think about the true gems in this world. from God's perspective, right? There's 100% of people in this world. And I'm telling you, you could have got rejected, isolated, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let me tell you the truth right now. There are 100% of people in this world. Let's say there are only 20% of people who are truly God's daughters. God's daughters and sons. There's only 20% of people who are truly God's daughters and sons. So, that is what sets you apart, first of all, okay? Because I'm telling you, 90% of the people that you meet in this life, probably even in amongst the Christians, 90% of those people are not true children of God. So, if you are truly a daughter of God, you are rare. You are valuable. You are rare. And I feel like that's the most valuable thing right there. Because, I mean, everything else falls after that. Everything else falls after that. You know? Like, if you are truly God's daughter, He is going to refine you. He is going to perfect you. He is going to make you have a good character. So I was going to say, not only that, but you're a Proverbs 31 woman. Not only that, but you're emotionally, physically stable, you know? Or, you know, just these different things. But those are all like, you know, those are all a part of being God's chosen. So, first of all, you're the top 20% in this world. You're the top 20% if you are a child of God. I don't care what the world likes to say. The top 20% is based off your money that you make. We're not looking at things of the world, right? We don't collect our treasures here on earth. We collect our treasures in heaven. So, if you're a child of God, if you're a daughter of God, top 20%. If that. Might even be the top 15. Okay? Secondly, if you are a woman who has been refined, if you have laid down the things, if you have been crucified, if you have taken up your cross and followed Jesus Christ, top 10%. I have my nursing friends inviting me out for drinks, inviting me, you know, or like whatever, you know, like people want to drink. I tell them I don't drink. I don't drink anymore. I love to drink. I don't do it. I haven't done it for a year. I don't think I'm ever going to do it in this life. Maybe I will. But as for now, I'm not. Because that's something that has died with the old me. You know? Going out to the to the club, to the bar. I got invited by one of my nursing friends. I really like her. I think I'm going to have to tell her no, though. Because I don't do that anymore. I don't go out like that. You know, I gave that up. And it's, as fun as it is, I'm privileged to die to my flesh. I am privileged to live a sacrificial life for God. It's a privilege. It's a privilege because that's how I know that I'm saved. The suffering that I go through in this life on behalf of God is a privilege. That's how I look at it. It's a privilege. So if that means I don't got no friends, it's a privilege. Top 10%. If you've been hurt, if you have been hurt in your life and you rose above it, top 5%. The reason why I say that is because you have a heart. You know what it's like to love. You know what it's like to protect. You know what true love is. And you know how to look at people when they are in their vulnerable state, when they have not grown. And you know what? If you are a person who grows, if you are a person who looks at your flaws and corrects them, if you are a person who is humble and not prideful, some people do not want to acknowledge their mistakes. They want to say that they've grown so much. They want to say that they've reached a level. They reached a level of perfection. They feel prideful, like they are better. God hates pride. God hates pride. Pride ruins relationships. Pride retards you. Pride makes you miss out on things in life. Pride is wicked, it's ugly, and it comes in the slightest ways to even me, to everybody. Pride is the one thing that could easily slip up if you're not careful. But if you are humble, top 5%, you are rare. And I'm telling you, chances are if you're watching this video, you're not even up there. And I'm telling you, this is a big difference than spiritual growth, because spiritual growth the world's way is demonic. It's prideful. It's not the same thing. Anyways, I'll see you later.